Hello, everyone, and welcome back to JaianMusic Notes. Let's talk about heartbreak. Not the romantic kind, but the fandom kind. The kind that you invest years of your life into, a singular story, only for the ending to let you down, to divide you, to make you question if it was even worth listening to. Listen, if you were around in 2023, and I think you know what I'm talking about, when Attack on Titan ended and the entire internet exploded, some loved it, some hated it, and some felt completely confused by it. The Attack on Titan fandom fractured into thousands of pieces, each side screaming louder than the last. But here's what nobody was talking about. While the ending tore us apart and left a very divisive opinion, the one thing that brought it all together and that everyone felt right about was the music. Every track, every orchestral swell remained universally praised and undeniably brilliant. The story might have failed some people, but the music never did. And that got me thinking, so how does music outlive the stories it was written for? And why do soundtracks endure when narratives collapse? And what does it mean when the most memorable thing about a loved show isn't ending, it's just the sound of it? Today, I want to explore that tension because Attack on Titan isn't alone. You could argue Tokyo Ghoul. You could argue a lot of divisive endings, all having legendary soundtracks. Let's talk about why anime music saves legacies when stories cannot. But before that, a big thank you to the sponsor of JaianMusic Notes, Laser Audio Technologies. If you want to make some crazy sounding stuff, there's no other way to put it, please deep dive into Laser Audio Technologies because they make creative effects plugins just for your tastes. They are incredible. They make stuff that is precise, has emotional weight, and allows you to create incredible music. And if you use code JaianMusic today, you get 30% off at checkout. So every dollar generated from that code goes straight back into the show, such as GoPro Kyo, who does all of the artwork. Okay, let's talk about this. I started with the ending of Attack on Titan. I'm not here to tell you if it was good or bad. It's not the point here. The point is that it was divisive. Like I said, some thought it was tragic. Some thought it was inevitable that Eren got what he got. And others thought it betrayed the themes. So what happens with the fandom at that point? It goes to war. Reddit threads with thousands of comments. Twitter flame wars. YouTube video essays from your favorite anime YouTuber dissecting every panel, every frame, every thought. But you know what nobody thought about? It was the music. Sawano's score for Attack on Titan is one of the most iconic soundtracks in anime history. And when the final episode aired, even the people who hated the ending said, yeah, but at least the music was incredible. That's my thought. You have so many tracks that are undeniable. We talked a lot about them in the very first guest episode of JaianMusic Notes over a year ago with Juan Gomez, like The Reluctant Heroes, Vogel I'm Kafig, You See Big Girl. So many. These tracks don't just support the story, they are the story. They carry the emotion, they carry the weight, they carry the dialogue, and they make you feel the tragedy, the rage, the despair of every single moment of every single character. And here's the thing, the music doesn't need the ending to work. You can listen to Vogel I'm Kafig without thinking of the moments attached to it. The music is self-contained. It exists independently of the anime, and it will outlive every discourse thread, every hot take, and every ending ruined argument, in my opinion, because it's being streamed every single hour on Spotify. Music doesn't age the way story does. Music doesn't get retconned. Music doesn't disappoint you on a rewatch. Music just is there, and if it's good, it's forever good. And to me, Attack on Titan isn't alone. This pattern repeats across many animes. Tokyo Ghoul. The first season was beloved, dark, tragic, beautifully animated. The opening, Unravel, is iconic. That song is everywhere. TikTok, AMV, Spotify playlists, like it goes on and on and on. But the show after season 1, it doesn't have the same impact. And yet, Unravel endures. I feel like more people talk to me about Unravel than about Tokyo Ghoul. The music outlives the story here. The story, pardon me. And to me, why is that? Why does it keep happening? Why does music survive when the narrative fails it? Because music is emotionally abstract. Stories are concrete. They have plot, character arcs, endings. And when those elements don't work, the story breaks. But the music is more abstract. It doesn't promise you a satisfying conclusion. It doesn't owe you closure. And it just gives you a feeling. It just gives you what it is. When you listen to songs like Ashes on the Fire, you don't need to know if Aaron's plan made sense. You just feel the weight of it, the tragedy, the inevitability, the chaos. The music delivers on its emotional promise every single time because it never promised you anything except for a vibe. And music doesn't change. The story ages, rewatches reveal plot holes, endings are recontextualized in your mind 10 years later, but the music is fixed. Like if you listen to You See Big Girl in 2014 and then listen to it in 2034, it'll hit the same way. You can't ruin music with a bad ending because the music isn't tied to the ending. It's tied to the moment. And that moment lives forever, untouched by what comes after. And music, in my opinion, lets you choose what it means. That's the big thing. When a story ends, the creator decides what it means. They give you the interpretation, the message, the conclusion. But music lets you decide what it means. Unravel can be about Kaneki's tragedy, or it can be about your struggle with identity. It can be interpreted the way you want it to be. And the story tells you what to think. The music lets you feel what you need to feel. And that's why music always felt more personal, in my opinion. So what does that mean for how we remember animes? Here's my take. For example, Attack on Titan will be remembered not for the ending, but for its music. 20 years from now, people won't be arguing about whether Aaron's plan made sense. They'll be playing Vogel I'm Coffee at orchestral concert. They'll all be using Ashes on the Fire for tribute videos, and they'll be introducing their kids to Sawano's legendary soundtrack. So I'll be honest with you. I have complicated feelings sometimes with the Attack on Titan ending. I won't tell you what side I'm on, but I will tell you this. When the final episode aired, Ashes of Fire just made sense. It clicked. And I think that's the gift of a great soundtrack. It's the space that it holds for you. Whatever that may be, music always endures. So if you enjoyed this episode, please come back every single week. I do these breakdowns of anime music. I do solo episodes like this where I talk about my song covers or I talk about the soundtrack of an anime with a guest. And it's always a pleasure to talk about Sawano's work. Any opportunity to do so, I will take. A big thank you to the sponsor, Laser Audio Technologies, 30% off if you use code JaianMusic. Shout out to GoPro Keo for the artwork. Always appreciate him. And if you want more of this, you can subscribe to JaianMusic Notes in your favorite podcatcher or follow me at JaianMusic on social media or my website, JaianMusic.com.